What you're about to watch is part of an online training that I do twice a month inside my Movement Makers program, where I coach entrepreneurs like you how to build an online movement, how to make money from it, and use it to make a huge impact on the world. Enjoy. I am excited. I'm excited to be here to welcome some new faces. We are going to do something super important today, talking about your content launch strategy. Before getting into the actual content, I'm much more focused on the marriage versus the wedding. And so I actually don't focus too much on launch, because what's more important than the launch is to keep going and keep doing it and keep showing up, where a lot of people focus just on the wedding. Like, hey, great, we have this one day. What a great wedding. But what's more important than the wedding, at least for me, is the marriage. It's like, hey, we have to keep going and keep creating and keep building something wonderful. So it's not just one wonderful day or a wonderful week, but it's a wonderful life. And so I think the same thing for you with your content. Yes, we're gonna talk about launch strategy, and if you don't get it perfect, don't stress, because what's more important is continuing to show up and continue to create and continue to share what's in your heart and put that out into the world. That being said, let's still have a great wedding as well. Let's still have a great launch strategy as well. But even more important is the ongoing content that we're going to be creating. Just like Built to Serve. So, Built to Serve is now 2 years old today, and I'm still talking about it. It's still the book. It's still something I'm proud of. It's still something we're marketing. We just did the Built to Serve challenge. So it's not just, okay, I have a book, let's get it out there and then not care about it. This matters. This is still the message. This is still what people need. And so now, even 2 years later, it's still talking about it because the content in there is still relevant and valuable. Just like what most of you are sharing, the message you have is still valuable and will still be valuable in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, for the rest of your life, right? Your message matters. And so that's the more long-term approach. But let's dive into the actual launch strategy. So the first is platform strategy. So the platform strategy is, where are we going to be sharing our content? On what platforms are we going to put them on? And I like YouTube at the top because it's the most evergreen content place available. The videos you make now, again, will be still there in 3 months and 6 months and a year and 2 years and 5 years. And so getting used to creating long form content on YouTube is a valuable skill. I put Instagram Live up there as well, because if you're going to be doing live, either coaching or live streams where you're doing an interview, a lot of the content challenge that Movie Makers doing together, doing Instagram Live. YouTube Live actually is not very good. So Instagram Live is a lot easier, right? You just pull up your phone, it's already all installed, press record, and you go live and you're good to go. So I mix these two in, and I would recommend you mixing those two in as well. So long form, 10-minute plus videos. If it's thought leadership, then it's YouTube. If it's live, then it's Instagram. And then you can also take the Instagram lives and put them to YouTube. You can cut them and get them on there as well. So that's the long form content. The micro content, now we have some options. Lisa's saying Facebook Live too. Not a fan of Facebook Live unless you've got a group. Like, it's good. Facebook is not, and we'll talk about this in the micro content. Facebook is not great for organic reach. So if you're doing paid, then Facebook can be great. And if you have a group or a page where you have some fans already in there, then it can be great for community, but it's not going to be great for getting new people in. If you look at the Built to Serve challenge we went live inside Facebook, but everybody, like, the problem is, how do you get people to Facebook? So we were doing a bunch of promotion marketing to get people to Facebook. The live we were doing on Facebook didn't bring anybody new in, which was also the point. Like, I wanted the people who cared about the Built to Serve challenge. It wasn't meant as marketing. So that's the challenge with Facebook Live. So in the micro content discussion, let's break these down so you kind of get a sense, because this can be overwhelming. If you're looking at a launch strategy and you see 7 platforms, 7 options, like, oh my gosh, Evan, you're crazy. I can't be here. I was already scared at YouTube. What's all these other things you're throwing up on here, right? So I would encourage you to, if you're going to go micro content, to pick one place as a starting point of where you want to spend the most time in. And let's break down some of these. So the easy ones would be, so Facebook is easy. don't do it. unless you're doing it as something else. So if you're making content for Instagram, you can also post it to your Facebook. Cool. But it's not a great strategy as a solo place to be in terms of getting new people to find out about what you're doing. LinkedIn, very business audience. So if you're selling to companies or selling to people inside companies, you're selling, Belinda does HR strategies. That could be a good fit for LinkedIn. Twitter is a lot more either techie or news cycle focused. So if you're targeting technical people or you're targeting something that's just really current news cycle, that's where Twitter can be really helpful. And if you love writing, I mean, it's about being witty with your words. So if you say, hey, I like writing, it's really a strong skill set of mine, then Twitter could be a good platform for you. I was going heavy on Twitter in the early days and then stopped doing Twitter because its relevancy dropped. But in the past 3-4 years, it's really picked up. Maybe a little bit even longer. I'd even go back to Donald Trump, to be honest. Like, I think Trump really helped spread more people on Twitter. Even though I think he's banned from Twitter now, the news cycle and him really going hard on Twitter brought a lot of people back into Twitter. So anything kind of news cycle is great for Twitter. So if you're going to comment on something that's happening right now, then Twitter could be a great place. And the NFT culture and tech culture also is hardcore on Twitter. So if you're targeting technical people, then that's a good fit. This is the hard one now. Instagram versus TikTok. This is the mass market one, right? So Facebook is a no, LinkedIn is business, Twitter is news and techie, but mass market, like YouTube is everybody. YouTube is mass market. TikTok and Instagram are currently fighting for the mass market dominance in the micro content space. Right? Nobody's watching an hour-long video or even a 10-minute video on TikTok, but shorter videos, shorter form content, who's going to win? And this is where I am fighting to try to make TikTok a bigger part of what I do. We have more followers on TikTok than on Instagram, but the engagement is not as strong and the conversion is not as strong and the live streams are not as strong. And so I'm fighting, about once a month, I'll come back in. It's like, how do I do more on TikTok? Can I make it work more? Can I get more value out of TikTok? So TikTok is definitely picking up steam. They're probably almost close to equal for most people. I would still put the advantage to Instagram for now. One, because you can DM people. You can DM total strangers. You can DM your followers. You can send messages. I mean, I sent you guys, new movement makers, I sent a bunch of messages to welcome you. If we have your Instagram, just me walking outside, saying, "Hey, welcome to the family." And Instagram is still where most of the people who you likely care about will be. So if I look at my contemporaries and the people that I do business with, they care a lot more about Instagram than they do about TikTok. They are more active on Instagram than on TikTok. Where it's going is definitely TikTok. TikTok is picking up massive steam. TikTok is easier to, as a new account, start to get some traction. May not convert as well, but this is the battle. This is the battle. If I'm looking at like March 3rd, what day is today? March 17th, 2022. I'm still more personally on Instagram, way more invested on Instagram than TikTok, but fighting to put more on TikTok. So these are your options for micro content. I would not, as part of a launch, try to do everything. It's likely too much, right? I have a team that's helping me do a lot of the stuff as well. So I would do long form content because that's building the house. That's brick by brick by brick that it will last for you. And the content challenge now around courage, if you make those into YouTube videos, your message around courage, again, will still be useful in a year and 2 years, 5 years, et cetera. Yeah. And so the other ones, pick one based off of the criteria where you think your customers are hanging out. Trent Jones is asking, what about Clubhouse? Clubhouse, first off, is for the most part a live streaming platform. We're hacking a little bit thanks to Terry, where we're doing replays of videos and interviews. Clubhouse has definitely dropped in relevancy. It had a super hot moment, but it's dropped in relevancy. Twitter Spaces is picking up a ton of steam, which is the same thing basically as Clubhouse. And we'll see where it goes. it hasn't dropped out of relevancy, but it's dropped in relevancy. So if you said, earlier last year, Clubhouse, be like, yeah, you need to get all in on Clubhouse because the attention is so hot right now, especially inside of what I care about, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, that kind of stuff was super hot. So we're still doing Clubhouse. We're still going to do a Clubhouse together. If you've never done a Clubhouse before, this can be your chance to come on and be on stage and do a fun one with us if you complete the Courage Challenge. Anyway, so long form content, and then pick one micro content as our platform strategy for our launch, because we're so busy with everything else as well to get your content out there and launch your brand. If you want to watch the full version of this video, as well as train live with me twice a month to help you build your movement and be around some other amazing people just like you, check out my Movement Makers program. The link to join is right there next to me. Can't wait to see you there. Continue to believe and go join.